High DF crew, exclamation point. Would a combination of Crysis and Turok be a match made in heaven for Alex in terms of graphics, mechanics, or anything else? Anything else, Alex? And for the rest of you, which two games would you combine to create your ideal one? Cheers! Exclamation point. So, Alex, yeah, I mean, Turok. John, actually, at Gamescom, you had an appointment for Turok. You weren't particularly keen on going. You went, and your worldview changed completely.
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually liked that demo at Gamescom. I think they did a bad job selling what it was in pre-release material. Like, it looked like some sort of like multiplayer PvE thing that was third person. It does have third person, but it also has first person, and it also has like interesting level design, inspirations from the games. There's a lot more going on mechanically than I thought that made it a lot more fun than I think it probably seemed like it would be. So don't judge a book by its cover, I guess.
But what do you think?
Yeah,
it's
it's not.
Well, about Turok, or about the combination two games that you smash together to make a great one?
Well, I don't know. Turok meets Crysis.
Well,
Dino Crysis.
Not Dino Crysis. I won't do the quote. Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracting myself. But I like this idea of the mashing of games. So I actually do think that is a great point by Anxiously Chrono Triggered here. I would love to see those kind of two, mainly just giving Turok more useful power-ups, like from the second game. All those, like in the second game, you get power-ups by kind of doing some backwards wandering through levels, and then you have to go back to old levels to get to new areas that with these power-ups. It's a bit Metroid-y. It's not so well done. But if those power-ups were actually useful in combat, like they are in the Crysis games, like your suit powers, that'd be awesome. But for me personally, two games that I always want to see like mashed up were a kind of a generic FPS. It could be any type. We could talk about that, but mixed with real-time strategy. And every single time that happens, like there's a commander telling troops what to do, I'm like enthralled. I think this is such a great game idea, but it just doesn't fly so much usually in the matchmaking environment we have these days, where people are just trying to pick up and play a game. It requires like role-playing and a level of dedication that you don't get from most communities in games. But there are some games out there that do it, and I've always loved them.
What are your thoughts on this, John?
On combining games? Man, that is tricky. I mean, I do like the idea in theory, like not necessarily directly combining it, but pulling mechanics together from one style of game and implementing them into something else. So like, that's actually amusingly what I think IO Interactive's trying to do here with Bond.
Yes.
Where they're trying to make that, mix of a little bit of Uncharted style, big bang action scripted stuff, and then mix it with what they've done in Hitman to create, something more than the sum of its parts. So, and I think Crysis and Turok is interesting because of its sort of the way it progresses through the levels, where even though the levels were fairly basic looking in terms of like the scope, but they were almost like that sort of non-linear action style game where you would go back and forth between areas and sort of like unlock new areas, which then open the doors to new stages, and that part was very satisfying. And essentially this would mean like, instead of just pure encounters where enemy is already aggressive, this implies you'd have areas along the way that are more like actually encampments where you're getting in there doing some stealth action, which then can drop into just normal action if you fail that. That's cool. I like that kind of idea. So I would be on board with that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Crysis with a bow and arrow, and then suddenly, actually Crysis 3 already did that.
Year of the bow, baby. That was Year of the Bow.
It was. So we had Tomb Raider, we had Crysis 3.
Crysis 3.
There was Splinter Cell that did it.
Far Cry 3.
Far Cry, one of there was a bunch of, I don't remember them all, but there's a bunch of games in that period where everything was about the bow, and it was pretty awesome. Just gonna say.
Well, I mean, like, the bow is awesome. Like, you have to really be thoughtful with how you're shooting it. You can charge it up by pulling it back further. There's so many amazing mechanics with bows. The games need more bows, is what John is saying there. more
So
bundles.
basically, not so much the combination of two different game mashups, but basically a bow in everything.
Just add a bow into everything. Actually, make every game first person is what I always say. That does it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Your real-time strategy game would be great.
No.
The first person real time strategy. Hey, there's a game. You've played Command and
It's
Conquer
called-
Renegade.
It's called Uprising, Alex,
Yeah.
from 3DO.
It's also
or Battlezone from Activision.
Battlezone is actually sick though. It's actually really good.
Those are great.
Battlezone
That was
is-
part of the distraction genre, which fits this, where it's strategy action of the late 90s. It was a good time. I thought it was going to become the hot new thing, and then it didn't. But
Yeah, it's
those games were great.
like I said, it just required a different mentality from the multiplayer community. Like in an Unreal game, Unreal Tournament, you just hop in, hop off. But like this game, when you have all that strategy elements, you really need to be kind of coordinated.